Hi, and welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this video, I'm going to be doing something a bit unusual, for me anyway. And I'm doing it because I accepted a board game challenge from another YouTube channel called Rolling Reggie. I've been really enjoying Reggie's videos lately. If you're looking for a channel with great board game reviews and recommendations, I can certainly recommend Rolling Reggie. I'll put a link in the description of this video to his channel. He's closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and maybe we can give him a nice surprise and help him get there. Anyway, Reggie tagged me and a few other creators in a mid-year challenge in this video, which I'll put a link to in the description, where he went through a series of board game reflections based on the year so far, and I'm going to follow the same format that he did. First though, I'd just like to take a quick moment and remind you that we have a Patreon where you can support the show. If you back at the climbers level or higher, you'll get regular extra videos like this one, but we also have tiers for all levels of backing and various perks, including access to our community Discord. This is a video I was actually planning to make for our Patreon backers, but then decided to make it public, which would be a quick way to remind you about our Patreon, share a recommendation for Reggie's channel, and do something a little bit different. So, without further ado, let's look at these mid-year board game reflections. The first question was, what is your favorite game of the year so far? You see, this is what I mean about this being an unusual video for me. This is going to absolutely take me out of my comfort zone since I don't usually express personal favorites, but this is the challenge. I'm going to try to follow the rules, and following the rules is sort of on brand for this channel, I suppose. Reggie cheated in his answer though. He picked two, a favorite lighter and favorite heavier game, so I'm going to do the same. And my favorite lighter game of the year so far has been Sea Salt and Paper. This comes in a small box, as you can see, but I found it packs a really good punch. You're trying to build a set of cards in your hand that will score you points, and that stays hidden. But you can make some of those sets public in order to trigger abilities that can hopefully gain you more points. But once they're public, the other players then have a better sense of what score you currently have. And this matters because one of the ways to score a lot of points is to announce last chance. If you say that, then your hand stays frozen while everyone else gets one more turn to score more points for themselves. And after that, everyone reveals. And if you still have more points than everyone else, you can really score big. This is a quick playing game with incredibly pleasing arts. That's one of the things I really like too. I mean, if I'm losing, I can at least look at these really nice cards. And it comes in a fantastically appropriately sized box. No wasted space here. Okay, for my favorite heavier game, now this is not a new game, but I've been playing a lot of Combat Commander Europe with fellow viewer and friend, Henry Whitehead, and it's been an incredible experience. Now, if you were to look at the components of this game, it looks very much like a traditional war game, meaning that, it's not necessarily very attractive, but it creates such a strong emergent narrative, and games have so many twists and turns. You'll think you're out and then find a way back in. I just think it's a masterpiece of a game, and if you force me to declare my favorite game of all time right now, after much resistance, I would say it's this. But don't take my word for it. I mean, this is not the easiest game to just jump into. You should do your own research into the game first, as always, but it has been a fantastic game to be exploring deeply. You know what? Let's just move these over here because some more games are going to be coming in, because our next mid-year gaming question is, what is your most played game? Combat Commander is close, but I'd have to say Arkham Horror the card game because friend of the show Rich Summer and I did a full live playthrough of the Scarlet Keys campaign on Twitch. All the episodes are there if you'd like to check it out, and it was an incredible campaign. Now I should just pause here and say no publishers are sponsoring this video. These games I'm talking about are my picks and reflections, but I've certainly worked with many of these publishers, and I would just want to say that up front so you can factor that in if you do have any concerns about bias. But anyway, as I was saying, this was an incredible campaign. It had a big open sandbox feel, and I would 100% play this campaign again. But the fact of the matter is I just really enjoy this system. It's a cooperative living card game system with a campaign and a real sense of story and progression. I love it. I'm expressing probably in this video more personal opinions about games than I have over the entirety of this channel, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. If you feel a little uncomfortable right now, it's okay. I'm right there with you. I'm doing this for you, Reggie. I'm doing this for you, bud. Okay, what's the next category? Oh, next up we have the biggest surprise of the year. This was tough. Now I want to give an honorable mention to Yokai Septet. which Monique Naveen introduced me to at Aircon. It's a team-based trick-taking game. We had a lot of fun with it. Kind of hard to find right now, but I'm trying. I also want to give a mention to Gussie Gorillas, which Matthew recommended. We did a full playthrough of this during our PEI live party stream. But I also want to give a shout out to Martin Wallace, the designer of games like Brass and London, because at Origins he played and probably suffered through a full game of Gussie Gorillas with us. I'm not exactly sure what his style of game is, but I think it's probably not this. But boy, was it fun to play it with him. Anyway, my main pick will ultimately be Wicked and Wise. Now this is also a team trick-taking game where one member of the team is playing cards in a more traditional trick-taking way, and their partner is playing cards with special abilities that will affect the outcome, perhaps of that trick, or it might influence their partner's hand, or even how things are scored. But their partner's cards aren't played directly into the trick. It's a tough one to explain beyond that, but this was a game that we played at Origins, and as soon as we were done, we played it again immediately. And that's not typical. You know, with so many games to try, repeating plays just doesn't happen so much, but it did for this one. Oh, I should mention, I don't have a copy of that to show because I gave my copy away to a friend as a gift before I had a chance to play it myself. And now I'm going to be on the hunt to buy another copy for myself. Okay, the next reflection is on the biggest game disappointment of the year so far. And I can say, without a doubt, it was playing a game Chaz introduced to us at Aircon, a game called Rumble Nation. That game was a massive disappointment, and you know why? Because it was so good and it's impossible to find. I know I'm cheating this question a little bit. I was probably supposed to be saying the game that like really let me down. I don't get any joy out of explaining why I don't like something when I know it might be something another person could possibly, absolutely enjoy. So this is sort of, yeah, a game I also liked. Rumble Nation is an area control game that comes in a small box, and it uses dice rolling to determine how and where you can deploy your soldiers. Each player does this, and then battles are resolved in the conflict areas. I'm not gonna be able to do this game justice in an explanation, especially because I only played it the one time, and my memory's a bit fuzzy. But this game left such a good impression on all of us that played it. And it was just so disappointing to learn that it's so hard to get right now. However, after I placed an order on the BGG market to try to track down a copy, I was informed that a new edition of it's coming out hopefully later this summer. So it shouldn't be too much longer before I can get my hands on it again. The next reflection Reggie highlighted in his video was picking a game from your shelf of opportunity, or as some people call it, your shelf of shame. These are the games that, you know, you're excited to play but maybe haven't gotten to the table yet. And for me, I'm gonna pick Resurgence. This is a competitive Euro-styled game. You can see I've still got it in the shrink. But it has a very, I would say, kind of non-Euro styled theme. It's a post-apocalyptic setting, and aspects of the board reminded me a bit of the video game This War of Mine. You know, as you dig out and build your own personal headquarters. This was an unusual purchase for me. It's one of those few times where I picked up a game really knowing next to nothing about it, but I just allowed myself to be drawn in by the art and the enticement of what looked like interesting gameplay that I hope to get a chance to experience for myself very soon. Next up, Reggie asked, what game was your best discovery of the year? I feel like I've played a lot of great games this year, so this was kind of hard to narrow down, but when everyone was here for the PEI live stream party, the whole Watch It Played team played Scram, I want to say 3 times, I think. We played it during the stream, but then we continued to play it again afterwards. This shares many similarities with the game Cabo, if you've played that, but it's a team game, and we really found the 3 versus 3 experience a lot of fun. Collectively, your team is trying to have the lowest total value in cards in front of you, but you only know the value of some of your cards to begin with, and then you have to try to deduce and discover as much as you can before the round ends. There's some bluffing, there's some push your luck, and again, it's another game in the perfectly, appropriately sized box for it. No wasted space, which is, look, this is a nice trend to be seeing. We're getting to the end here, and the next prompt from Reggie was to mention our most anticipated upcoming release. Now, as a fan of My City, this wasn't a hard pick. I'm anticipating My Island. Now, to be fair, I do have a copy, so this is more of a shelf of opportunity situation, maybe, but I just got it in, so I'm counting it. My City was a very fun, like polyomino legacy-styled campaign game, but this time, from what I can tell, instead of placing polyominoes on a board, you'll be constructing hexagon tiles into your own island in front of you. I have to admit, like, my anticipation here is based purely on the back of my enjoyment of My City. I'm just very keen to see how this new game in that style plays. Okay, finally, Reggie asked us to name our personal favorite video that we've made so far this year. And listen, that's really tough. You know, on the channel we make a variety of different styles of videos, and I love them each for their own reasons, but I can certainly say that I loved working on our PEI live stream party with the whole team. It was so good to have everybody here. Literally, I mean, everyone stayed right here in the house. It was like a big old giant slumber party. And of course, we had a great time playing games, but also just a great time hanging out and talking. And then we also got to have so much fun playing all those party games with all of you live. It was just really great. I mean, we all live, you know, very different places, very far away from each other. And I certainly wish sometimes, many times, that we lived closer. But I'm also very grateful for the times when we do get together and hang out like that event allowed us to. So that was really special. And that's the list. Challenge accepted and completed, Reggie. And for all of you, if you're up for it, I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the games I mentioned and to hear your answers to any of the prompts in this video, especially about the games that surprised or delighted you or that you've just been getting to the table the most. I have to say, you know, it felt a bit odd talking about games this way in this video. It's just not something I normally do publicly on the channel like this, and I probably won't do it again for another 10 years, but I have to admit, it's kind of fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, thanks for watching.